Another day on our wedding anniversary road trip saw us leaving Durango and heading to Silverton, Colorado. We stopped along the way. James noticed a sign for a honey place. Oh my goodness, we are so glad we stopped. This store was delightful, it was adorable, and it wasn't just honey that they had. They had a fabulous selection of adult beverages. There were also jams and syrups and sauces. We perused, we explored.
Peach? What is that? Oh, not a jalapeno.
Jalapenos are nice.
Yes, we got the jalapeno. We ended up buying 3 different honey flavors and 2 hot sauces. I also thought it was really fun that we got to see the honey process, or whatever it was they were making, the Honeyville factory, right there on display. That was really, really neat. Just a delightful little store. Our only complaint, and it's a big one, they don't sell bread. How are you selling all these delicious jams and honeys and spreads and no bread? Luckily, we were able to find some at a bakery in Silverton. The scenery on the way to Silverton is only beaten by the scenery between Silverton and Ouray, which you'll see in another video. Oh my goodness, everywhere. There's something to see. There's reasons to stop and get out of the car, and not just because I needed to stretch. This place is magical in its beauty and its wonder and nature. The air, well, be careful of the air because the altitude is really high and that will definitely affect you, but it's clean air and it's gorgeous. There was a little bit of rain when we were getting into town, and there was rain off and on throughout our adventure. I don't even care. It was gorgeous. It was so beautiful. We stopped at the visitor center, got some information, and then we were cruising down their main street. And this is something important to know, especially if you go like in winter. Only the main street of town is paved. All of the rest of the streets are dirt. Like if you get off of Main Street, they're gonna be dirt streets. It's the same in Ouray, and it maintains that like Old West mining town kind of ambiance and feel. It really is delightful, but I can imagine that in worse weather, it probably wouldn't be quite so charming. It is definitely a tourist town, as is Ouray, but they are worth dealing with a little bit of tourist congestion. And honestly, I didn't feel like there was too much of the tourist congestion for us to be able to enjoy it.
Silverton. Just found out they got their name because of the mining, of course, and it used to be silver by the ton is what they said, and that ended up turning into Silverton. Time for some coffee here at the Coffee Bear. We stopped at the, what is it called, Coffee Bear, and I got a caramel macchiato with whipped cream, just what we need. It was raining when we got into town. It has let up, which is awesome. And now we've got coffee. James also got a caramel macchiato, but he got his iced. In this kind of weather, no, I'm all about some hot coffee. We're gonna head now to the mine tour. We can't check into our hotel for another hour, so we're gonna go ahead and do the mine tour. And that is in lieu of the train. We're not gonna do the train. Many reasons. The cost is one thing. It's way more expensive than I anticipated, and also it takes up your entire day, and James doesn't want to do that. And so, you know, we improvise and compromise, and we are going on the mine tour. Hopefully it's haunted.
To get to the Old 100 mine tour in Silverton, you are going to need to go on an unpaved road. As long as it's not muddy, stormy, snowy, you're probably going to be fine in almost any vehicle, but don't take my word for that. We did just fine. It was an absolutely gorgeous drive heading up there. The mine tour does cost, but it is not like prohibitively expensive, especially if you're just going as a couple. The area around it I consider to be part of the package is absolutely gorgeous. You get to do some panning for, unfortunately not really gold, but for silver and agate and other little goodies. Really enjoyed that. It's included in the price of your ticket.
Just trying to do what I saw in Gold Rush. Ooh, I got a couple of red nuggety things. I wonder what the red would be. Ooh, I might have gotten I got a piece of silver.
James and I were really lucky in that it was not at all a busy day at the mine. There were only 6 people in our group, 3 couples. We had the most wonderful time. I was nervous about going in there, thinking there's going to be some claustrophobia. And yes, that could be an issue. But really, with coffee in hand and a fun guide and my fabulous husband by my side, it really played out more like real life Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs mine, you know? And I am a major Disney Parks fan, so I think that definitely helped. In the claustrophobia aspect of this that normally I would maybe feel a little uncomfortable with because I just saw it in my mind as another theme park ride. And it's only the entrance part where you feel that tightness. Once you get past that, it all opens up quite a bit and you get to get out of the train and it feels much more comfortable.
Colorado, I've been mining for the last 30 years. I still mine to this day. I'm going elk hunting in September. That's why I'm up here giving tours. Yeah, I spent 2 years in Botswana, Africa, so I needed a break, so I come back to my summer house. I'm about to do my 3rd trip. So when I say ask me questions or have fun to ask questions, please do. I've actually mined with all this gear down here. There. That white stuff up there, that's actually the quartz crystals. Down here in the lower right-hand corner, that sparkly, shiny stuff, that's iron pyrite, better known as fool's gold. The way you tell the difference between real gold and fool's gold, if you shine a light on a gold ring, real gold is very dull color. It doesn't change its color at all. You shine a light on that stuff, that's actually got sparkles like a diamond, that's how you tell the difference. So in your gold panning, when you find that stuff that sparkles, that's actually called leverite. Leave it right where you found it. So I actually moved to Florida about 3 years ago. I was born and raised here. I spent 20 years in Denver with me and my wife, and we moved to Florida. So now I do a lot of consulting, and I'm actually a subcontractor. Okay. So I got a few jobs lined up. I actually just go to the highest bidder, to be honest with you. Whoever pays me the most money, I'll go there. Yep. So folks, the first thing you got to do in a mine is you got to drill out a series of holes called a round. That round is going to be 8 feet tall, 8 feet wide, 6 feet deep, 32 to 40 holes. Those 32 to 40 holes are only 6 to 8 inches apart. So back in the 1800s at the boarding house every morning, those miners would go to work. They got issued a 5-pound hammer called a single jack and a drill still. This is actually called single jack drilling. They'll walk up to their working face, drill out that series of holes called a round. So they go up, they line up that drill still, they start drilling. How that works, strike it, quarter of a turn, strike it, quarter of a turn. They're going to do this for 8 to 10 hours of the day,
Oh my
all
God.
day long. Back in the 1800s, this actually paid them $1 a day.
Oh.
I know there's nobody in here that would do this for $1 a day. I gotta change my tour a little bit because I'm used to some little ones and I pick on them, but I'll have to figure this one
How
out.
long is a day?
8 to 12 hours. Back then, it was actually an 8-hour shift, and I'll explain that to you in a little bit. So, folks, in that same era, they had what they called team drilling. It's called double jack drilling. They got issued a 8 to 12 pound sledgehammer known as a double jack and a lot longer drill still. How this works, you're going to have the hammer man that's going to be me, and you're going to have the shaker lady that's going to be you.
Yes.
Yeah, yes, I know, you're
Absolutely.
too excited. Yeah, come on up here.
All of my little girl dreams are coming true.
All right, young lady, come on up here, turn around. So it's actually called, it's in the name, right? Right there. It's called shaker lady, right? It's kind of in the name.
I shake.
So you're going to bend down here, you're going to put your arms straight out like that, and every time I strike that, you got to give it a quarter of a turn.
Okay.
Do you know what that quarter of a turn's for?
So that we keep getting rolled around?
Yeah, because you have to make that perfect round hole, put dynamite in there to blow this rock up, all right? Go ahead. You trust me, I take it.
I have no choice.
Yeah, I would.
Because I've already decided I'm
I
doing
kind of
it.
have a drinking problem. 6 shots of tequila, 2 beers, and missed twice. Stop Here we get ready. Sitting there, we're drilling along. And if I actually glance off that drill steel and I smack her in the
Jesus,
wrist,
no, you don't.
well, guess what? She's going to have a really sore wrist. The other problem is, I can't swing this for 8 to 10 hours of the day, so we swap. You become the hammer person.
Are you serious?
Yep, and I become the shaker man. Well, the first thing she's going to do, obviously, to get even with me, she smacks me back. We both have a sore wrist and we go back to work. All right, young lady, you keep your eye on the top of the drill still. Do not take your eye off the top, and you'll be fine.
All right.
You're fine. Just don't take your eye off the top of the drill still. Wherever you hit, where you're looking is where you're going to hit. Good.
Oh, that was
There you go. So, folks, this is double jack drilling. Perfect. Give her a round of applause. Raises like this right here. The best way to explain them to people, if you've never been around them or in them, it's actually an underground building. If you've been to Vegas and do one of those big hotels or a skyscraper, you push button 2, number 4, 2 looks like 3, 3 looks like 4, so on and so forth. All 7 levels of this mine are similar to here. There's a series of drifts, a series of raises, and a series of ore chutes. Between the levels with our underground elevator. This right here. So, unlike that building, we actually don't use buttons in the elevators, we actually use bell signals. Oxidized copper. So that copper actually has a little bit of calcium in it, and that makes it that beautiful blue color. If you look over here on that rib, you'll see that's what copper usually looks like. It's that bluish green. So ladies, if your boyfriends or husbands ever buy you a ring and about 2 months later your finger turns green, you might want to trade them in. It's cheap. It wasn't gold, that was copper. It goes up a lens, goes around 2 wheels to get to that and down to the bottom. So if you didn't actually have that whole 12 feet by 12 feet, that development is there for that 2-inch rope cable. If you had to go straight out 90 straight up, you'd actually have to use 7 or 8 different wheels to get your alignment and your adjustment. Well, every time you add a wheel to it, you're actually going to pull the amps off your hoist. Just don't do it. Either take a gas injector. It's always with a match or a cigarette. So if that smoke is actually going up, or if it's going either direction, you tell your air. If that smoke just goes up and hangs there, you have 0 air.
Our tour guide was so much fun. Our group, they were all delightful. I had the absolute most wonderful time. So did James. It seemed like the whole group did as well. I highly recommend this tour. So much fun. I would also recommend having a couple of bucks, $10, something like that, on hand in cash for a tip at the end. It's not required, but it is appreciated.
That's what I like about small groups like this, is you can have fun, and jokes, and everybody has a personality. If I had a bunch of points suckers in here, my tour stays strictly the same, I would repeat myself, I come out and I get it done.
Yeah.
But when you actually have people that have personalities, yeah, that's what's fun.
You're welcome.
I've been terrorizing that.
Yeah.
Navigation, all the tunnels.
So it's actually surveyed.
That looks like one.
Thanks for ruining that, because that young lady is going to give herself a swirly. Yeah, I already had her picked out because she has a bum wing, and I got sick of picking on you. Come on now. Thanks for ruining that one.
Sorry, but you made me listen to a rock.
Oh, yeah. And I promise you I'd even talk about the Tommy knocker, even though I'm not superstitious. All right, folks, go and check this out. Usually, this young lady would have her hard hat off, her head down there picking something up. But this is actually called a honey pot.
She's willing anyway, look.
Oh, she's not. Yeah, I'd have got smacked earlier. I was kind of worried about it, but he'd been laughing like crazy. So, folks, if you look right here, this is about 100 years old. This actually has that perfect round circle right there. She would have dove in there in a heartbeat and had to pick her up. No, smell that. What do you think that is? So, folks, this is actually that honey pot. So, the underground bathroom. So, we kind of know what kind of person I am by now, this poor young lady. Happy anniversary, young man, but I'm so sorry, I'm laughing at a laugh. So, what kind of gas does that carbide light make?
Acetyl
Gas,
saline.
right?
Burn it.
I'm going to walk by here with a handful of carbide, I throw it in there, I go off and go to work. That next miner's
Oh
going
my
to come
God.
up here, sit here, doing his business, having a moment. Well, he sits there and strikes that match, lights that cigar, he drops that in there. That's going to be the best bikini wax that man's ever had in his life. We call that hot pants, yeah. The other thing is, how many degrees do we come uphill?
3.
The only thing stopping this from going out a quarter of a mile is a chunk of chain like this. Well, if your partner up in leisure, you know where he's going. It's not time to get explosives. He'll be over here with his light off having a moment. Well, you sneak around that drift over there, you pull that chain out, you give him a kick, he goes out a quarter of a mile with nothing but a smile on his face and his pants around his ankles. Yeah.
That's it.
So, folks, the moral of the story is stay out of the mines. Kids, if there was some here, it's trade schools or college. But it's always, it's kind of like if you're in the military, think for service, but military, oil fields, construction, 90% of the shenanigans go around the Blue Lagoons, right? Well, underground, this is all you have for light. Not much of an HR, because everybody been laughing at me except this young lady. She'd have been kind of upset with me. We get away with a lot of shenanigans, so you want to train your body before work or after work, yep. So, young lady, I got one more thing, but if you wanted to play in the water, it's right here where you don't have to lean over.
Yeah.
Yeah, just don't fall in it, please.
Do they know how wide the mountain is?
Yeah, so
What's on
actually,
the other side?
Maggie Gulch is on the other side. We actually go under Maggie Gulch. They're all just like this guy down. They all go up and they dead end. But yeah. Oh. Hey, young lady. You did it to yourself. I didn't even do it. So this isn't a steering wheel. This is actually a plug. If you look down this rail, see how everything goes into that ditch right there? Yeah. So when this gets full, they undo this, it all goes down, it goes right in there. That's actually called a piss ditch. I didn't do it! You did it to yourself! I didn't even do it!
You're so dead. I'm going for more. Seriously, this is delicious.
I was sitting there thinking, why the road you go downhill?
That's some of the best water I've ever tasted.
No, it is. I mean, there is minerals in there. It's not going to make you sick. But we say you can't do it. And if this was an active mine, you would not do that. All right, young lady. Happy anniversary.
Thank you.
Anybody?
It's been fun.
Young one.
See?
So when you take a porta potty right out of the mine and Marvin's on days off, you got to blame somebody, right? So those are their superstitious. I'm not superstitious at all, but a lot of the miners are, so they always blame it on the Tommy knockers.
Yes.
The other thing is when you go into bad air or cave in, they say they go in and they do something to actually pull you away from it. Again, I'm not superstitious. And the other thing, young lady, guess what they're sitting on? They're honey pots.
Oh my God.
All right, folks, I hope you had a lot of fun. I know we all had a lot of fun on this, young ladies. It was so much fun. Right here, young man, here's your crystals right here. So, folks, this is actually that vein material. We only broke off that little piece over there. So the weakest part of this mountain is actually right here. The vein material is the weakest part. That conveyance over there where the raise was, they actually take that up in the host rock because the Gunnison Blue Granite's the hardest rock.
If you've been with me for any amount of time, Frugal friends, you know that I don't mind being the joke, the clown for the class. I had so much fun and I got to try so many things and experience so many things that I have wanted to like my whole life. This was an amazing experience. I cannot cover all of it in just this video. I highly recommend experiencing the tour yourself if at all possible. So much fun and so much history. And a lot of gratitude and appreciation too. After the mine tour, it was time to check into our haunted hotel. Come back tomorrow and I'll show you what I'm talking about.